Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. We are from 6th group. We'll explain about customs. What is custom? According to Cambridge Dictionary, custom is a way of behaving or a belief that has been established for a long time. Etymologically, custom can be defined as an act that is repeated over and over and then becomes a habit that remains to be respected and obeyed by the people. There are two types of custom. There are with customs with binding obligation and customs without binding obligation. But our group will explain about customs without binding obligation. Custom without binding obligation is customs carried by people in certain communities and have societal sanctions attached to them, but they are not enforceable by law. For example, every society has some customs about how to dress. It is not legally binding, but can still have powerful sanctions attached to them. For example, if someone comes to party wearing a swimsuit, he or she will be ostracized and alienated by other people around him or her. These customs, although not binding, are very important in society. Individuals follow these customs due to social pressure. When these habits are abused, society usually responds by showing social disappointment or sorry, or ostracization. However, there is no sanctions in the true meaning of them of term. Such customs can be referred to as social habits. Customs in Indonesia, like greeting and gesture. It is enough for Indonesian to greet other people who they are not close to be saying hello or selamat pagi or selamat siang. And in some situations, you may notice Indonesians how slightly as well, which should be seen as a sign of politeness. Don't forget that usually they making an eye contact too. But be careful, over eye contact could be misunderstood. For example, could be misconstrued could be misconstrued as being a challenge or a form of aggression. It's better avoided. And then for people who close to use or info or in informal, Indonesian usually greets other using different titles or expressions that can be used depending on the gender and status of the person. Bu refers to married woman or colleague. Mbak to younger, unmarried women. Pa is a formal way of greeting men, while mas is more informal. And for the body language in their greeting, they shaking or waving hand.
Okay, and the next is dining and food custom in Indonesia. Indonesian using right hand to eat. Indonesian usually use right hand because the left hand is seen as being unclean, meaning you should avoid using it to eat or serve food. And moreover, for the place or time to eat like lunch, breakfast, or dinner. In Indonesia, families might normally eat an evening meal together or separately in different parts of a household. Lunch is usually an informal affair to the extent that in some areas individuals simply will grab a handful of cooked rice from a kitchen and eat it immediately. Formality or shared activity of eating relates to each society and class. In many areas, people eat with their right hand, like what I have said before, but most Indonesians use a tablespoon. Breakfast often consists of rice porridge with coffee or tea. For Indonesians do not usually linger over meals as do Westerners, and often conversation waits until after eating. When eating together, custom frequently determines that the head of the household or oldest male initiates dining. When guests are present, etiquette requires that the host or hostess express. For example, please eat, silakan makan, before anyone make a gesture toward doing so. Some Indonesian families share meals around a table. Some dine together on tikar mat, and some eat alone in private at the back of a house. Moreover, food and eating can relate to real or metaphysical danger, as people fear poisoning, curse, or spirits entering their open mouths. Many Indonesians do not speak while eating for such reason, and sometimes water must wait until after a meal. And then rice and life. In Indonesian, rice represents a fundamental spiritual, social, and nutritional basis for much of Indonesia. Even in Balinese wear small dabs of rice on their temples and foreheads after prayer. Life passengers inspire festive accompanying rice dishes or sculpture, and most everywhere rice carries spirit. Indeed, Bali's complex irrigation system for growing rice shape land and culture, while sustaining strongly cooperative communities for many countries. Uh, Moreover, then there are limitless variation upon rice dishes in Indonesia, like nasi campur, nasi uduk, nasi kuning, etc. Rice is inherent in Indonesian life because Indonesia is an agricultural country. That's because most of the population work in agricultural sector which includes rice farming. And then the last is no pork and alcoholic drink. It is because majority of Indonesian is Muslim, which is prohibited eating pork and drinking alcohol. So it is still taboo if there is pork or alcohol because it's haram. And then for the next, clothing. In Indonesia, Indonesian use clothes that not too tight, not too revealing, polite or appropriate clothes. Or usually we can say that Indonesia use clothes that neat. Everywhere in Indonesian, manners of dress carry fundamental social importance. Even as customary dress currently wanes in some regions, people aspire to appear clean, neat, and fashionable. The Indonesian term rapi means neat, but also implies a modern sleekness in dress. In cities, people typically wear contemporary factory-made clothing, similar to style in the West. Comparatively conservative Indonesian women dress modestly and normally do not wear sleeveless blouse or short skirt because the majority in Indonesia is Muslim. And in addition, Indonesia lifestyle more likely to imitate the Middle East. So the clothing for the Muslim female custom of covering the hair by wearing a jilbab, a coat leaving only the face exposed. And then the last is dress code depends on event. Usually Indonesia have a dress code depends on event like Muslim code for praying, traditional code for traditional event, black dress code for funeral, batik for formal event, and etc. And then the next is custom in business etiquette. Indonesia usually rubber time. There is a concept of rubber time in Indonesia, uh, which means that Indonesia usually late are not on time, and many social events are not expected to start punctually. However, when it comes to business situation, it will likely be expected for expats to arrive on time. And then the next is good relationship harmony. It relates to the previous point because Indonesian think that time does not bring money and make them rubber time. They think it is okay because uh, time does not bring money, but good relation and harmony do. Then the last is status order. It is normal for Indonesians to enter the conference room according to rank. So there is a status order, and although you will not be expected to do the same, behaving as such will present a good impression. And then the next is celebration. Indonesian, they have they have many celebrations, but in here uh, I provide three, which are Mitoni, Kenduran or Kenduri, and Maulud. Mitoni, Tingkat Bulan or Tujuh Bulan, is a traditional Javanese procession that aims to at a woman who have entered their 7 months of pregnancy. It is for their safe. Usually, it consists of belief, and there are sets of value behind it. And then, Kenduran or Kenduri is one of the traditional events held as a manifestation of gratitude to God for the fulfillment of prayer and hopes. In general, Kenduran is accustomed to be grateful. And then the last, Maulud. Maulud is grandiose parades honor the Prophet Muhammad's birthday in Central Java. Group of men bear large platform with decorated mountain of rays. Usually in Maulud there is even like this, and marching from village to mosque, accompanying multitudes.
Okay, now we will talk about American custom. The first custom in America is celebration. The first celebration in America is Valentine's Day. Valentine's Day is held on February 14. Valentine's Day celebrates love. Traditionally, this is a day when men send flowers or candy to their girlfriends or wives. But now many Americans, not just men, send cards or small gifts to friends and family members. School children also exchange cards and perhaps candy. Next is Easter Sunday. Easter Sunday is held on March or April. Easter Sunday is a Christian holiday. For many Americans, Easter is also a time to welcome spring. Children usually look for colorfully painted Easter eggs and baskets filled with candy left by the Easter bunny. Next is Halloween. Halloween is held on October 31st. Traditionally, a day to honor the deceased, Halloween evolved into a day evening when children dress up in costumes such as princes, movie characters, ghosts, and monsters, and go from house to house asking for candy from their neighbors, a practice called trick or treating. Next is Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving is held on fourth Thursday in November. Families gather to give thanks for their abundance on Thanksgiving Day. They usually share a special dinner of turkey, dressing, cranberry sauce, and pumpkin pie. And the last is Christmas. Christmas is held on December 25. Christmas is a Christian holiday commemorating the birth of Jesus. Many Americans celebrate Christmas by decorating a Christmas tree, and children wait for Santa Claus to fill their stockings or put presents under the tree on Christmas morning. Family members and friends also exchange gifts and have family dinners in Christmas. The next custom in America is fashion. American people usually wear casual fashion. People in West are known for being a bit more casual than people in the East, which dress more formally. Dress code depends on where in the USA you are doing business.
and the weather and local culture will determine what is appropriate or not. In America, there is Casual Friday. Casual Friday is common in many companies. High technology companies often wear casual clothes every day. The next is food, dining and food. Americans socialize and do business over breakfast, lunch, and dinner. Social meals are more about eating than chatting and taking hours over the food. If you invite someone to a restaurant, you must pay. That is the custom in America. And in America, the fork is held in the left hand facing down, with the knife is held in the right hand. And do not begin eating until the hostess starts or says to begin. And then eat on the go. Americans often eat on go because they are too busy. Polishing off your meal. To Americans, finishing a meal shows the host how much they enjoyed the meal. Next, refusing food. In America, feel free to refuse specific foods or drinks without offering an explanation. And Americans often refused food to make it easier for the host. The next is sports. In America, people will stand, remove the hats, and face the flag when hearing national anthem. Americans love sports like football, basketball, baseball, or hockey. The American national anthem played before most professional sporting events, and many Americans will stand, remove their hats, and face the flag for the duration of the song. The next is norms and ethics. In America, there is a tipping custom. The waiters in America are paid less than the mandated minimum wage. They only get a few dollars an hour, so that American gives tip for waiters. Typical guidelines for tipping are between 15% and 20% of the total cost of the bill. It's not just bartenders and waiters that get tip, but also taxi drivers, barbers, hotel housekeeper, car valets, professional movers, food delivery drivers, and even tattoo artists. Next is naming conventions. In America, family, friends, and colleagues use first name. Nicknames are common, and there always start by addressing people using Mr. or Mrs. or Miss plus surname until you are invited to call them otherwise. Next, meeting and greeting. American greetings are generally quite informal and casual. It is becoming more common in social situations not to shake hands upon meeting and simply smile or nod. If introducing someone, use their full name and a bit of information about them. Next is communication style. American prefers direct, simple, and clear talk. American sees coded indirect communication, which relies on body language as confusing and unnecessary. Next is personal space. Americans do not tend to like close contact with others. 2 up to 3 feet of personal space during conversations is the norm. And the last is gift giving. Gifts are usually given for special occasions or between friends and family. Gifts within business are generally discouraged due to anti-bribery policies. Okay, that's all American customs. Thank you.
Okay, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. I'm here will explain about custom in British people. Great Britain is full of culture and tradition which have been around for hundreds of years. British customs and tradition are famous all over the world. When people think about Great Britain, they often think of people drinking tea or eating fish or chips and wearing bowler hats. But there is more to Britain than just those things. In daily life customs and in ethic, you have to know that British people are punctual. Being late is odd and in some cases considered to be rude. And also the British people never jump lines, now as quiz in UK. In some countries, jumping the queue may be acceptable, but in United Kingdom, people may not be very happy with you and will defiantly let you know how unhappy they are about the situation. In the United Kingdom, it's acceptable to keep one arm length between yourself and those you are speaking with. Any closer is assumed to be aggressive and can be uncomfortable for those native to United Kingdom's people. Please, thank you, and sorry are the normal parts of everyday conversation and interaction of British people. Also, when greeting a good friend or family in British people, you do not simply shake their hand. Many times, especially if one of the people that are greeting or being greeted is female, you will frequently give or receive a small kiss on the cheek. If you are not a close friend or family member, then physically touch is perceived as odd and uncomfortable. You may shake hand, but often a smile or bow a head is acceptable enough. Also, the British people have a high amount of respect for older adults and the disabled. If you are on public transportation, you are expected to give up your seat if someone who is disabled or older comes onto the train, maybe. Also, in British people, the working day of British people is usually start at 9 a.m. and finish by 5 p.m. Most people work a 5-day week. British people, the working week is on average the longest of any country in Europe. In 1998, a new law was passed saying that workers do not have to work more than 58 hours a week if they don't want to. However, about 22% of British workers do work more than a 58-hour a week. Also, in British sport, many of the world-famous sports began in Britain, including cricket, football, lawn tennis, golf, and rugby. In British fashion, in United Kingdom is very much as a Western society. So, in British, the fashion they are wear very much the same as any other modern Western society, ranging from jeans and t-shirts, whether with designer labels or not, to full business suits for office work, and special clothes for the climate include heavy overcoats or anoraks for cold wintry weather, to raincoats and umbrellas for weather rain. Material used cover every type, color of fabric available, especially consider that Britain is multicultural society, and in certain cities you will find many stores with very colorful silk available for making in saris and other ethnic clothes. Also, in Britain there are calendar customs. Calendar customs are those which happen on a specific day of the years. For example, the special days and even throughout the year, calendar of even special day, national holidays, festival and celebration which take place in the United Kingdom, such as Easter, Halloween, or Boxing Day in December. Usual custom and tradition in British people. It's because a long time ago, the year was marked out with special days which mark the passing year. These were days of celebration where people would do things, eat things, or make things which they would not normally do. Cheese rolling, nettle eating, toe wrestling, or box snorkeling are just a few of strange, bizarre, wacky, eccentric, and even mad festivals still taking place in British people today.